Hey guys, this is Nick from Straight Line Graphics, and today I'm going to showing you how to make a simple intro. And if you guys didn't know, I'm actually a good friend of Jake's. I just started up my channel, and yeah, basically I focus on Cinema 4D, but general video editing too. So basically today, guys, I'm going to be showing you how to make something in Cinema 4D. So here is Cinema 4D. You guys can torrent it. That would be generally what I would say is a good idea because the regular program costs around $4,000. So yeah, so once you have that, you're also going to want a plugin called ThruC. And ThruC, I'll actually put the link in the description. So now you're going to want to go to MoGraph and you're going to want to go to text object. So once you got this text, you're going to want to go to basic, no sorry not basic, but object. And object basically, this just shows you the main properties of the object. So right here you got the depth, so how far you want it to be in width obviously, and down here it's height. So I'm going to put the height smaller. Then you can also click on font, and font I've got this one called Perulin. I actually really enjoy this font to use for intros, but you guys can use any font you want, and obviously they're in some are bold and italicized. So you're going to close that and it'll instantly apply itself. So once you have that, guys, if you want a quick color to yours, you're just going to double click down here and it'll create a new material. They're going to want to go to, well, you can change it. There's also a box here if you click, and that basically makes your color. This stuff we won't fool around with. I'll show you how to use those later, like reflection and luminance and stuff like that. And you want to also check off specular, so all you have is color. Once you have that, you just want to drag it and apply it. Now once there, this plugin comes in. So you're going to want to click on ThruC and click on the main ThruC thing, not ThruC bowl or building or cutter. And you're going to want to click on 5. Now guys, there's a difference between this text object and a cube. Basically what it means is if you write 5, that means each letter is going to be separated into 5 pieces. And so you're not going to want to do something like 40, which you would do with a cube, because it separates a cube into 40 pieces. But if you separate each letter into 40 pieces, that's going to take you like 20 hours to render. So, and your computer probably couldn't handle it. So I'm just going to click break now, and it's going to basically break all of them and separate all of them. Now what that does is basically, guys, it just makes a model, 5 models, as I said, for each letter. Now once you have that, you guys are going to want to add the basics. So you're going to want to add a sky and you're going to want to add a floor. Once you got the floor, you're going to want to go to coordinates and you're going to bring this up to about 10. You're going to want to bring Z up to about 10 too. Y, don't worry about right now. So once we got that, we can render it and look at it. And it'll be like, okay, there's a text, whatever. You're going to also want to add a light, because you're going to want some kind of depth to your picture so it just doesn't look like it's hanging there. So let me get this, put it over here, and you're going to also go down to, I think it's, general. You're going to want to go to shadow map soft, and basically what that does, guys, is it creates a shadow, and this is just the intensity of the light. And also you can fool around with the different colors, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So you click it and you can see there's a tiny bit of shadow on there. It's not too bad. I don't need to perfect it though. So once you got that down, now you're going to want to click a cube. You want to make a cube. This cube essentially is what makes the explosion. So you're going to make the cube about as long as your figure or your text, and you're going to want to make it about down a bit so it's under. How about there? Now once you've got that, you're going to want to highlight these 2 boxes until they turn red. And what that basically means, guys, is the cube is deactivated, so you can't see it when you're rendering, but it's still technically there. So once you've got that, you can go to the cube and you want to click on rigid body. So go under MoGraph, rigid body. So that means, guys, as you can see on the snipes, these, I'll just highlight all of them. Basically, the rigid body, it already activates, and it says the trigger is immediately. So that means on your timeline down here, and if you didn't know, 30 frames is 1 second if you have 30 frames per second. That basically means right when you spawn it, mine's going to explode right away because I have the cube there, which is a rigid body, which basically conquers the text and explodes it upwards. So once you've got that down, as you can see, it explodes upwards, but if you have the text without the cube, it'll just collapse on itself. And we also want to add rigid body to the floor so that if I extend this, we can watch as the pieces come down and impact on the floor again. If you don't have the MoGraph rigid body on, they'll just go right through the floor and it won't look exactly pro as VP Snipes would want it. So once we got that down, you guys can mess around with it. So basically, if you want to get more advanced into this, you can time it by using keyframes. So say we wanted it to explode at around 60. We'd essentially want to do this, go to rigid body under cube and disable it. So that what that basically means is the text just collapse on itself. So as you can see, that's also a problem. We don't want the text to collapse on itself. So we'll go to this and we'll go to rigid body and we'll disable it. So what that basically means is nothing will happen. So if you guys can see here, we'll bring it all the way to 60% or 60 frames, which is 2 seconds. We'll click enable and we'll click add keyframe. So once you've got that, once you add a keyframe here for disabled, you add one here. See, as you can see, the box is highlighted. So once you've got that, that means it's going to collapse. But you've also forgotten about your cube. So at 60, you're also going to want to enable that, which basically means it's going to explode at 2 seconds. Hope this all makes sense to you guys. I mean, if I'm confusing, just tell me in the comments. There, see? Now it explodes, nice. We're going to fast forward to just see where it goes. And there. So basically once that happens, you guys could also add a camera, which means you can go here, add a camera, and you're going to want to go to camera, scene, and camera, which means basically your point of view is the camera's point of view. So right here is the keyframe. So you click here, and for the starting, say I want it to move over to the side and curve in, I just click a keyframe, and that means the camera moves. Then right when it explodes, I want it to zoom in. So I'll essentially just do this, zoom in, then I will make the camera turn around on itself and zoom out. Alright, so once you got that, like, you can just see it. I mean, this is a pretty amateur job, but when you guys get it, it'll look a lot better. So once you have that done, you guys basically are just going to want to make a video out of this. So I've got 200 frames, which is pretty key because I don't want it moving too much. So like that's good for me. So essentially what you guys are going to do is you're going to want to go to render settings. And if you didn't know, that's this one here. That's to render a single image, and that's to start rendering. So once you're under render settings, you guys are just going to want to go to output. Put this to as many pixels as you want. 1080 is the highest. And once you've got that, you're going to want to go to where you want to save it. Type in whatever name you want. It's just a random one. And it'll go up as save desktop, and you're going to save it. Then you're going to go here. This is key. How you want to save it. You want to go to QuickTime Movie if you have a Mac, or you can change it to any type of movie if you have Windows. Once you have that, you're going to want to go back to general, or sorry, back to save, output, sorry, from 0 frames to whenever it ends, which is 200. Now once I've got that, you just want to go to render, and it'll start rendering it for you. And that's basically it, guys. Thanks for watching, and try this yourself.